Okay, so I'm going to talk very briefly in slides about how to access billing and authorization, which I touched on briefly in the last session, and how to protect data on Terra. And I'm going to go through on slides to give an overview, and you'll have those as a resource. And then I'm going to go ahead and jump into the AnVIL on Terra platform and show you directly, and you can follow along with me. And you actually should follow along with me because you will want and need to set up a billing project, a Terra project for your own in order to do the hands-on portions of the work. Okay, so let's get going. So in order to work on Terra, you're going to need to set up two things. One is billing, which will cover your costs, and the second is authorization for the controlled access data you're going to use. I'm going to go through the steps you'll take in order to do both those things. There we go. So here's some learning objectives. By the end of this session, you should understand what are the costs in Terra, how to set up billing to cover the costs, how to enable access to controlled data by linking your ERA Commons authorization to your Terra account, and how to protect controlled access data with authorization domains. So first thing is understanding costs in Terra. So operations in a Terra workspace may incur a Google Cloud charge. You only pay for what you use, but whenever you do incur a charge, it's going to be billed directly to a Terra billing project, which is funded by a linked Google billing account. So some things that you could do that might incur charges are accessing data. In AnVIL's data is all in requester pays buckets. So if you access that, you may pay egress charges. You won't pay for storing it in the bucket. However, if you move it into your own workspace, you will pay for storage. Second bullet point, any data that you store in your workspace bucket, you will pay for. If you run a workflow or if you run a Jupyter notebook, you'll also pay for those things. So this is the overall structure of billing. There's a Google billing account, which you will need to set up or have set up, and that gets linked to Terra. And when it's linked, you will see a billing account show up in your Terra profile, and you use that billing to create Terra billing projects. And then it's the Terra billing project which is used to create workspaces and cover all the costs associated with a workspace. So you assign a billing project to a workspace when it's created. And I'm going to state this again. All the charges in Terra are per workspace, not per user. So you're not charged based on what you as a Terra user do in Terra. You're charged costs are computed based on what happens within a workspace. We can talk a little bit more about that and if you have questions at the end. Okay, so there are a number of different ways you can pay for work in Terra. Ultimately, to cover any cloud costs incurred in a workspace, you need direct or indirect access to a Terra billing project, which we're going to set up today. So the owner of a workspace in Terra can share the workspace with you and can compute permission. This is an indirect access to billing. So you're not actually on a billing project, but you have permission from the workspace owner to do work on their billing project. The owner of an existing billing account or billing project can authorize you as a user to use that billing project to create workspaces. That's how I mostly do my work in Terra. The third option is you can set up your own Google billing account and link it to Terra, which allows you to create Terra billing projects. So let's talk about how to set up a billing project from scratch, and along the way I'll point out the places where there are different paths, if that makes sense. Ah, I apologize. I had the last bullet point. You can use Terra has free credits billing project, which when you're a new user to Terra, you can access that. Okay, if you're setting up a billing project from scratch, there are 4 steps. And for some groups, like I said, some of these steps may have already been completed. For this Jamboree, you'll see where the first 2 steps have actually been done. So the 4 steps are to set up a Google Billing account and add users. And you don't do this in Terra, you do this in the Google Cloud Platform Billing Console. Also within the console is the second step to link that Google Billing account to Terra as an authorized user on the billing account. Once you do that, there you will have an associated billing account that shows up in your Terra account profile, and you then use that to create billing projects in Terra. And once you have a billing project, you can include other users if you want in the same billing project. Like I said, step number 3, once you have access to the billing project, it's going to show up in the drop-down options whenever you create or clone a workspace. Hopefully you will see that today. So AnVIL has set up a Jamboree billing account, a Google Cloud billing account through Strides that has already been linked to Terra. We'll go through steps 3 and 4 in the walkthrough. And there's an article in our knowledge base that has step-by-step instructions for each of these. So again, options to set up a Google Billing account. Step 1 are you can use funded Google Billing accounts, such as the Strides accounts. And there's some information. Oh, I don't have the email. I apologize. I didn't update the slide. I will get that email to you after the Jamboree. Many institutions have procurement offices that can help you with a preferred account setup method for Google. Some institutions already have Google Billing accounts that you can get added to. You need to just ask your institution. You can set up a Google Billing account through a third-party reseller, such as Onyx. This is how our free credit program works. Or you can create your own Google Billing account using a credit card or bank account. So those are the 4 options for the first step of setting up a Google Billing account. And again, we have step-by-step instructions for each of those. Step 2 is to link the Google Billing to your Terra account, and I'm going to go through screenshots, and then we'll actually do it in real time in the walkthrough. So the first thing is you have to be an owner or have admin privileges in order to authorize Terra as a user in the Google Cloud Platform console. Remember that in your case for today's workshop, this step has already been done. So the first thing you would do is go to the Google Cloud Platform, and it looks like this. You select the billing account. I only have one. You may have several, or if you haven't been added to one, you may have none. The third thing, when you select the billing account, you have the option of adding Terra as a user. There's a button right there, add members, and then in this example, Terra was already there, but you would have a chance to go to the pencil icon, and you would include billing@terra.bio. And once you did that and click save, Terra would be linked to the Google Billing account. Repeat of what I already said, you have to be an administrator on the billing account in order to link the account with Terra. So the third step, once you have a billing account that is linked to Terra, you can create billing projects right inside the platform in the billing section of the main navigation menu, which is at the top left. And I'll go through this. but this is a screenshot of what it looks like when you click on those three. They're going to be horizontal when you first see them, and you click on billing, and this will take you to another screen where you have a chance to add a billing project by selecting the little blue plus sign. So once you click the plus sign, I'll show you, you're going to create a billing project. You'll name it what something that makes sense to you, and then you'll use that billing project when you clone or create a workspace. The case today, STRIDES has done steps 1 and 2. STRIDES is funded by NIH to support NIH research programs like AnVIL. There's a reference up there. And STRIDES has already set up the Google billing account and linked it to Terra. And when you click to create a billing project, you'll get a screen that looks like this. And as you see, the NIH billing account is already listed there. So again, here are the roles that people that are on a billing project could have. You can be owner with full access, including adding and removing users. You can be a workspace creator, which allows you to create a workspace. You can be a notebook user, which allows you to launch a notebook cluster, and you can batch compute user, which allows you to create a workflow batch processing job. So these three different roles at the bottom are the things that would incur costs. So when you assign a person a role on the billing project, when you add them to the billing project and assign them a role, you can decide how much or how little they can, where they are allowed to incur costs. Okay. That's the billing portion. Let's talk quickly about ERA Commons authorization in Terra. So you need to link your ERA Commons authorization to your Terra account, which will let you access controlled access data directly within the Terra platform. When you click to link your account, you'll be redirected to, so in order to in order to link your NIH account, you're first going to go to your profile page. Again, it's under that top left navigation menu, and it will take you to a screen that looks like this screenshot. And when you select the DCP framework services, you will get to this screen, which I hope is familiar to most of you, and you'll just log in with your ERA Commons account, and that should allow you to access ERA Commons data. So one quick caveat is that the link between Terra and your ERA Commons account expires after 30 days. When you go to the profile page, it will give you the date when it expires, and in addition, as you'll see when I log into Terra, you will get a little banner notification saying that the link has expired. You want to be very careful about this link. If the link for authorization expires while you are running a workflow in a bulk analysis, your workflow will fail because it won't be able to access the data. Okay, so I'm a little bit more than halfway through. We're going to do a walkthrough in the Terra platform to show where you'll find the resources that I've covered in this session so far. So I'm going to walk through billing. I'm going to start on the billing console, the Google Cloud Platform billing console, to show you what that looks like, and then I'm going to go back to Terra, to the billing profile, and if you're following along, which I hope you will be, you can create a billing project. It happens very quickly that you will use for the rest of the hands-on portions of the Jamboree. And then I'll also walk through what it looks like to link the ERA authorization. Okay, so I'm going to stop. I believe I have to stop sharing this portion, and then I'm going to share my browser portion. Does that sound like what I need to do, Mo?
Sounds correct.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that. Close up the slides. And then I am going to share that is not it. Okay. Okay, here we are. Does that look good? You're seeing my anvil.terra.bio screen?
Confirmed.
Okay, excellent. Okay. So once you're logged into Terra, this will be the landing page, and you'll see it when you click on the top left, you will have access to your profile, groups, which we talked about with respect to setting up authorization domains, billing, notebook runtimes, and sign out, which we're not going to do. So I'm going to start on billing, because I promise that's what we would talk about soon. Notice that I have quite a number of billing projects. I don't actually own any of these billing projects, but I've been included on them. And if I were to click here, that's how I would create my own billing project. But I want to back up a step and show you what your billing on your Google Cloud Platform console will look like. So if you go to console.cloud.google.com/billing, and you need to make sure that you are logged in with the Google identity that is also used for Terra. If you have more than one Google identities like I do, what is often helpful is to work exclusively in a incognito browser, just so you don't get conflicts. So you notice that I have no billing accounts listed. Not to worry. If you go under Show Sub-Accounts, you see right here, NIH MaGIC Jamboree. This is the billing account for the Jamboree that you should all have access to. So if you're on the Google Cloud Platform console and you select Show Sub-Accounts, you should see the sub-account right here. Notice that if you look under Billing Account Users, you're all here. And somewhere in here, I believe Terra will be listed. But I'm not gonna worry too much about that. Okay, so this is what you can expect to see on the console. If you have any questions while I'm going along, you should feel free to ask in the chat or write them down and save them for afterwards. Back in Terra, once again, so the first thing we're going to do, because it will help you with, it is required for the rest of the walkthrough, is to create a Terra billing project. So you have a linked Google billing account, and you need to create a billing project, because until you have a billing project, you cannot do anything that incurs charges in Terra unless you're shared with someone else's. So again, click on your researcher, go under billing, and yours will probably, or unless you've been working on Terra already, you will have none listed here. And the way to solve that is to click on the plus. You're going to select the NIH Jamboree billing account right here. This is where you are selecting what Google billing account is going to fund the project that you're making on Terra. Some people have more than one. You on this webinar probably only have the MaGIC Jamboree account right now. So you want to select the billing account and enter the name of your billing project. And I'm going to call mine, let's start with a letter and can only contain lowercase letters. Okay. You can call it whatever you want. And if you click Create Billing Project, it shouldn't take too long. And you see that it will show up right here below Billing Projects. And once it stops spinning, takes a few minutes, I guess.
While this is spinning, Allie, would it be
Yeah.
possible to return to the GCP
Sure.
console to highlight some of the features you were showing us?
Is there something in particular you're?
So maybe if you start from the bottom or the top of the console, so we see how you got to this billing page.
So I just use console.cloud.google.com and billing.
Okay.
So you can start, if you start from just the console, here I'm gonna open another
Okay. Thank you.
tab to show that. I think that's what so if you start at your overall Google Cloud Platform console, and it's a little overwhelming. If you select billing from everything in Google is from this top left navigation bar. So if you select billing, you'll get to the billing console, right? And you want to be on the managing side of things when you're setting things up. So this should look familiar. This is exactly where I was. Trying to think of what other things are tricky. There's a lot of additional information that you probably won't need. And the nice thing about setting things up from scratch is you won't have a lot of additional stuff. I'm going to go back to billing and see if it's done, and it's not. Okay. I am thinking, because I do want to lead people through, no, is it? I do want to lead people through what it looks like to clone a workspace. So I am thinking that I will clone my workspace with a different test project or a different project. Does that sound reasonable? Yeah.
Up to you, Allie. Did you want
Yeah.
to also demonstrate how to provide ERA?
Yeah, I can do that too. So under the top left menu, if you click on Profile and you go over here to Identity and External Servers, all of you on this webinar would want to, the second option, log into Framework Services to link your account. The DCP framework by the University of Chicago, and you click on that, takes you to this is outside of Terra. I actually don't have an ERA Commons account, so I can't fill this in, but this is where you would fill in your ERA Commons information. That's right, Mo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
that's correct.
and that's pretty straightforward, and I believe it's pretty quick. I think it's almost instantaneous.
It is.
Right. Okay. So users, you will want to do that to access the controlled access AnVIL data, but in the next session, we're going to be using public access data. So I'm not going to worry about that.
This is Garrett. If I can, from the University of Chicago, if I could just add a point. Um, when it comes to accessing that data, I believe there will be an additional link there that will actually say AnVIL rather than DCP that is coming
Okay.
into production in the near term. So for folks in future, as they're doing this and looking at that screen, don't be surprised that that new link shows up. It'll actually say AnVIL to make things a little bit clearer for everybody.
Great, great. Okay, I'm going back now to my billing. Let's see the status. Ah, it is done. Great. So I'm going to walk you through. Now that you have a billing project, you can actually do work on Terra. So congratulations. I have 2 minutes left, and we're going to get you all set up with how to find and clone the workspace that we're going to work through in the next session in 2 minutes. So if you go back to the menu, the main navigation menu, and click on your workspaces, you will not have very many. I have a ton, but if you click on the public workspaces, and I'm going to click this off, do a search on, trying to remember, trying to remember what I called it. There we are. If you search on data in public, you'll find this workspace, AnVIL Jamboree Data Access Tutorial, and that's the one we want. If you click on it, and it will come up. It doesn't have a really long dashboard. Normally we would have a lot more information on the dashboard, but this is a quick and dirty version to give you a taste. So I'm going to be talking about this in the next session, but I'm going to show you really quickly how you would make your own copy, because this is a read-only copy. You're not going to actually be able to do very much. So in order to make a copy of a workspace, go right over here to, at the top right, there are 3 vertical dots. Click on it and click on Clone. And you'll get a modal which will allow you to rename your own copy. And you're going to select the billing project. You're going to go and select the billing. You probably only have one. I have a bunch. I'm going to select the billing project that I just did. And there's a description, which is the top. You remember in the last session I talked about authorization domains. So if this workspace had an authorization domain attached to it, pardon me. If you wanted to attach an authorization domain to the workspace as you were creating it or cloning it, you would do that here. So if you had created a group in Terra, which I can show you again where that belongs. It's that top left navigation menu. It would show up here in the authorization domain group, and you would just select it. Again, this is public access data, so there's nothing you need, and you can just select clone. And again, this is a pretty quick process. And voila, you have your own copy. You will see at the top is the billing project that you created it under. This is where all the charges that are incurred in this workspace get billed to. And here is the name. And I'm going to stop there. I know I'm just over time, and we are going to go through this workspace in the next session. So I can wait here, and hopefully everyone is kind of close to where I am.